What is up, my Lorcana Goons? And welcome back to the Lorcana Goons channel. It's Friday. We got the Friday Market Watch going. I'm with Zach Stone, and we're going to talk about Lorcana news, meta trends, and card prices. And we have a lot of news to talk about since Monday. I'm kind of glad that we do the Market Watches on Monday and Friday because a lot happened in between. They announced a lot more information about Arcasia's Island. That's the new set of Lorcana. Set 7, if I'm not mistaken, right, Zach Stone? Coming out very, very soon. We have product images now. We have some leaked characters that we're going to go over. I'm super excited. Earlier in the week, I want to say on Monday, they gave us like some images of some very vague settings and possible new Lorcana characters. But today, this morning, we have actual product images of some cool stuff like the booster boxes, the starter decks that feature a ruby sapphire and an amethyst steel starter deck, and we even have some card information, Zach Stone, that was released today. Huge shout out to Musha Report, Citizens of Lorcana, everyone sharing information online on Twitter, because we have our first confirmation of dual ink colors with this Jafar, this amethyst and steel colored Jafar. That is awesome. And there's also this new vanish key term right here, this keyword on this Iago, that basically says when an opponent chooses this character for an action, banish them. So just right off the bat, Zach, I want to get some opinions on some of these cards, on some of this information. How are you feeling this week?
This week has been, I wouldn't say bad nor good. It was just kind of like nothing crazy has changed. Nothing's happened so far. So for what it's worth, for Lorcana news, there's a lot that we want to talk about. And this Iago features a brand new keyword, and I think that this keyword is going to sort of add a new precedent, I think, to what we should expect in the upcoming future sets of Lorcana, because they're willing to bring things out, relatively quick. It's only been a year and some change, and we haven't seen much introduced outside of locations. And I like where this is going already. We have dual colored cards and we have new keywords. We don't have any rules or any sort of clarifications on how these dual colored cards work. So let us know in the comments how would you like to see these cards. Because I think, Kevin, that you should be able to play like a Jafar, this one right here, in like a red purple deck, or you can play it in amber steel.
I see what you're saying. So you think you should be able to play it in either a purple or a steel deck. I thought it was going to be the other way around. I think it might be better the other way around, but there's definitely a lot to talk about there because we have some other ones that were revealed, like this Ruby Sapphire. I was thinking maybe you can only play these cards if you're playing that specific color combination of Ruby and Sapphire. So I do want to take a look at this Jafar real quick before I move on. This Jafar is a 4-cost inkable, and I'm just going to guess the effect, but because there's some missing right here, obviously. But I'm assuming it says during an opponent's turn, whenever one of your illusion characters is banished, you may return that character to your hand. We don't know his stats. We don't know how good he's going to be in terms of strength and willpower. But look at this. This Iago is an illusion character. It's a 4-cost inkable. Giant Iago over here, clearly towering over, it looks like Agrabah. 4 strength and 6 willpower for an inkable 4-cost character. That's really overpowered. But that vanish ability does have a little bit of a drawback. So if you use Brawl on this Iago, I don't actually, can you even do that? Can you choose it? Point is, if you use something like Fire the Cannons, that Iago is going to be banished. It will only deal 2 damage, but vanish will trigger, and it means it will be banished after that. So pretty interesting there, the vanish key term.
I just want to cut in a little bit. The brawl won't work, but there's cards like improvise, which is a 1-cost inkable action, which says chosen character gains a strength. You may draw a card. So no matter how you choose this character, even if you sing something like Let the Storm Rage on and just deal 2 damage to it, it will remove this character from play because the vanish keyword basically banishes it the second or after the action is resolved.
Yeah.
So if that's still on the board, it's gone.
Yeah, it gives me Spirit Reaper vibes from my fellow Yu-Gi-Oh enjoyers. You know what I mean? Exactly what I thought. I was like, oh, that's Spirit Reaper. Bell Mechanic Extraordinaire, a 9-cost inkable. 7 strength, 7 willpower. That's a Sapphire and a Ruby card. So maybe you can ramp into this, right? Can quest for 3. Is a shift 7 on top of all that, and says for each item you have in your discard, you may pay 1 less to play this character using her shift ability. Not too shabby, and whenever this character quests, you may put up to 3 items from your discard to the bottom of your deck. Gain 1 lore for each item placed this way. Then we also have this beast. the Frustrated Designer. 6 cost, uninkable. This is also a dual ink sapphire ruby color character. Has an ability that I can't really read it all, but I'm assuming it says something along the lines of exert this character, pay 2 ink, banish 2 other items. I'm assuming items because items tend to be very important in the Sapphire strategy. Deal 5 damage to chosen character. So if you're banishing, that's a lot. That's a heavy cost. If you're banishing 2 items, or maybe you're banishing something else, but just to deal 5 damage seems like a hefty cost right there. But either way, dual colors coming to Lorcana. Very awesome. Very excited to see what this is gonna like entail in terms of strategy. Maybe we might see some cool colors pop off like Emerald Ruby, which we've never seen before, or Sapphire Amber, which we haven't seen in a long time. That'd be really cool. Arcasia's Island is also gonna feature some new characters like Mushu. Look at this Mushu artwork that got revealed. I'm so excited. I'm sure a lot of people are waiting for Mushu. And look, is this another Baymax? A potential second Baymax armored, not armored companion, but a different Baymax. So that's really cool. A lot of Arcasia's information has been released. If you guys want to check out their website, be sure to check out their website for the product images. Go on Twitter, go to your favorite content creators channels because I'm sure they're talking about it. And then we all know that Reign of Jafar, the 8th set is going to come out sometime in May. But earlier in the week, they announced set 9. So we have Fabled. This is coming out in quarter 3 of 2025, which is what? That's like the autumn season. So it's anywhere maybe August, September. So it's going to be a while till we get to the Fabled portion of Lorcana. But there's a little tidbit here. It says, there's power in the tales we tell. Welcome to Disney Lorcana, a realm where magical stories come to life. Whether this is your first time playing the game or you're returning to team up with few new pals, there's something for everyone in Fabled. So, set 9 Fabled has been announced. Arcasia's information is everywhere. So if you're looking forward to new products, then we have a lot to look forward to in this 2025 season. But there's more information that's been happening. I feel like there's just nonstop info this week. A huge one is that Ravensburger announced that we're going to be moving away from Melee.gg. Zach, as like we've done the Melee thing since Lorcana came out. We've played plenty of DLCs and we've played plenty of tournaments in the local area. We've hosted tournaments as well. So them moving away from Melee and they're gonna start moving to their own Ravensburger Play Hub is what it's called. What do you think about that?
It's something that I kind of thought they would integrate alongside Melee. So they're kind of just completely moving it away and kind of creating their own thing, which I'm a fan of, right? The idea to kind of like find pairings on your phone was pretty resourceful and handy. I remember, back when I was competing a lot of like local regional events or even some bigger YCS events, which are considerably DLCs for a different card game, I would have to walk up to a board that they would have multiple boards of, or they'd even section off like certain last name. If your last name started with a certain letter, you'd have to walk up and find your pairings on a piece of paper. And there's lots of people that would have to go there and find their paper pairings, so it'd be a little bit of a challenge, kind of finding your table. Plus, you'd have to remember where your table number was. You'd have to like look at it, memorize it, go find your table. If you forgot on your way there, you'd have to walk back, and it's kind of frustrating. So I like that we're going to have something on our phones, something that we can have access to, and it's even going to integrate a lot with the stores themselves. It's even mentioning that starting with the Reign of Jafar, so not this set champs, not this current season set champs, and not just next as the island set, the integration of this will kind of happen when that set is like fully out and released and we're going on to Reign of Jafar. So we'll have some time to use Melee as our final hurrah, but I like where this is going.
Yeah, Melee is really cool. It does have its flaws, but I think as long as they stick around that realm, I'm gonna be excited. I noticed that they're gonna be powered by Cardi.io. I don't know how often they've used that, if that's been used for other like games or whatever, but I do recognize that that a little powered by Cardi.io from the pack tournament. So if it's that platform they're using, that's gonna be really cool because that was very helpful. One of the huge things that was mentioned though is they're gonna be changing how they go about these set championships in the future in terms of pricing. They announced they're only going to be giving one championship playmat from now on. So no longer is there going to be a second playmat for non-champions at set championships. It's only going to be one Championship playmat. We still get the 8 enchanted foil promo cards for the top 8, but they're also going to be giving 40 non-foil versions of the promos for pre-registration is what it's looking like. So I guess it depends on, I think it's on while supplies last, and I guess it depends on the store whether or not they want to use them for pre-reg, but it's going to be incentivized for pre-registration. So let me know what you guys think of that. I know there is some commotion about that in the Lorcana space. A lot of people like the champion and non-champion mats. If you are playing Lorcana in Japan for whatever reason, just know you cannot use English cards. If you're going to be playing Lorcana in Japan or China, you have to use their respective language over there. Although we can use cards here in other languages, we can use English, German, French, whatever, Japan, Chinese. For our gameplay, they cannot use them over there, and this was officially confirmed by Steve Warner on the Disney Lorcana Facebook group. So if you're not part of these Facebook groups and you want to keep up with more news when we're not talking about it, be sure to follow them as well. Let's get on to some card news, though. Look at this, Zach. It's the Mickey promo from the Costco bundle that we were talking about on Monday. Shout out Lorcana Brando. Appreciate you for posting this so we can get a good look at this. I love the foiling. This is kind of what I assumed it was going to be, like kind of sparkly, like the half hexwell crown that you can find in the Illuminator's Quest, which I think is lovely foiling. I wish, like I said, you can pull the foiling like this from the pack. That'd be awesome. Not necessarily with the border, but even just the sparkly foiling. What do you think?
That's actually a good point that you like to make right there. And I think it would be nice if they added something like this. Like, let's say they added just an additional rarity bump for certain cards, and instead of your foil, you would pull this, or you could even pull an enchanted. Like, we're not saying remove enchanteds and replace them with this.
Yes.
We're just adding these into the rarity pool, right? And this could be something that they could do, and I think it adds a little bit more of a spice to kind of pulling some enchanteds. Personally, I think that they can even start to consider potentially making serialized cards out of certain packs or certain editions.
No, don't say it.
Other
No.
card.
Don't get me wrong. I agree. It'd be cool. I agree. It would be cool. I didn't mean to cut you off, but my reaction was very genuine because I know if Lorcana did that, we're just gonna see the return of the scalpers, and then we're gonna become Pokemon. People are gonna be fighting at Costco for the Mickey Mouse.
Well, no, pause. They're just cards you would pull out of certain packs, right? Like, so Magic does this for certain like collector boosters, right? So they're kind of separated in certain different products, and they kind of only allow you to kind of get these cards in certain products released, and this could happen in the future, and I don't think it would be a bad thing. Let us know in the comments what you guys think. If you guys would like to see certain serialized cards be able to pull from packs. I know a lot of us are chasing that golden Mickey, but it'd be nice to have a little something else serialized in the card game, wouldn't you think?
Oh yeah, something that's just pure luck. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, like not everybody has the time and effort to go to a DLC and try and win a golden Mickey or $20,000 to purchase a golden Mickey, right? So I think having some a little more rarity cards or like something a little different than the enchants would be cool. We've had that conversation in the past. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks again, Brando, for posting this Mickey from the Costco bundle. Want to go over some sealed product before we go over some more cards? We asked our Discord in the Market Watch section what you guys thought you wanted to hear today, and some people mentioned Flutterborn boxes, and Rise of the Flutterborn boxes are going up just a little bit. At the end of December, they were selling for around 135 to 140, and since then they've been picking up to as high as 150 to almost 160. Card attack is the lowest verified at 151. And after that, you're gonna have to pay almost 160 already by Full Grip Games at 158.99 for your Rise of the Floodborne boxes. I think the set is still great. It's hard to find personally. Like I still see people have it on their shelves, but it's still really cheap compared to something like the first chapter, which is selling for double the price. And it has kind of did bump off the 350 mark, and people are selling it for a little bit less. It's looking like 340 is the asking price, and there's a lot of Chinese and Japanese versions of the first chapter that you can find online. I think the Japanese launches this week, if I'm not mistaken. So you're gonna be able to see that on eBay, TCG Player very soon. So if you, like I said, you can use the Chinese cards in Western society tournaments if you want to play with those and save a little bit of money. But I do believe you're gonna end up averaging the same money because you get less cards if you're buying a $60 box anyways. But 340 is the price for the first chapter English booster box, which is still very much in demand. A lot of people are definitely buying these on a regular basis. We see the sales movement right here, the 24th. Yeah, there's sales every day, every other day is what it's looking like. The Mickey Mouse promo that we were just talking about from Lorcana Brando is selling for $25. Lowest verified is going to be 25 with $1.49 shipping by Honest TCG Shop. Then Mojo's Cards has us at 29.96 lowest verified, and we have plenty of sales here that are at that price from 30 to 28 to 25 over from yesterday to today. $25 is the most recent sale, so I think 25 bucks is that promo price. Not too shabby. The Cinderella Stout Hearted promo kind of going back up just a little bit. These were selling for less than 100 bucks, and right now you can't find them for that cheap anymore. Lowest verified is now Underworld cards for 105, 104.49 actually. Lowest verified. After that, Strike Zone Online has them for 104.99. And yeah, they were selling for as low as 82, 89, 82, $83. But that was as early as last week, and they're not going to be less than 100 bucks anymore. And we don't even know if we're having any more DLCs outside of the Australian DLC, right, Zach?
Definitely no news yet. We are hoping to get some news soon. I would love to be able to start planning out where I'm going this year, and I'm very excited. We're going to be able to announce a lot of things coming up, but we're waiting for some events to get called before we decide to pull the trigger on a lot of different ideas and a lot of different things. But hey, all you goons that still support us to this day, we're glad you're still here with us for the journey. It's been a little difficult to navigate without actually, anything set in stone, no pun intended. But these promo cards, the Cinderella and Rapunzel's, we're unsure if we're going to see them again. Where we would want to find out, hopefully in the next month or two, what we're going to see, if we're going to get different promos, even for the prizes like the Let It Goes, the foil versions of these cards. Are we going to get new prizes for the next season of DLCs?
Yeah, right. They haven't said whether or not we're even gonna have more DLCs. I'm assuming we are, but they just haven't said anything. But we'll talk about that in an entirely different video or something. Robin Hood Sharpshooter. This card selling for 115 today by Bobadine. These are some enchanteds that I think are pretty nice to always have in the arsenal. They've been coming down a little bit, but I don't feel like these really stay any cheaper than 100 bucks. I've never seen them cheaper than 100 bucks. I definitely think that this card is okay, you have to make a deck around this card is what it is, and I think it has potential in the future. I'm not sure about it right now, but Zach, how do you feel about this card?
First card is, always think that cards like this will have a lot of potential, and I'd like to always speculate on certain things. Like, this card is a card that will just get better when we see more 6 cost actions that can do stuff. We saw the new Vanish keyword, so there might be some actions that can come off of this that remove a lot of Vanish cards or Vanish characters. And it's another thing too. Like, I always like to bring up the Prince Naveen. It's like, that's another card that can just be really good if they make a 6 cost song ready to go with it. So the more sets that we're gonna see in the future of Lorcana, I would like to think that cards like this can be, touched back up or brought back into some more competitive play, not just standard or casual play. I'm a big fan of this card, but it's a little too gimmicky to work right now.
Yeah, just a little bit, just a little bit. Speaking of 6 cost, Lady Tremaine, the 6 cost character, was selling for as high as like 130, 140, the Enchanted Rare. Now lowest verified is going to be Croc's cards at 120, so you can find it for a little bit cheaper if you don't want to pay that premium hype price after Edmund Chu won with his winning deck list. The most recent sale was at 150. Before that though, they were selling at 125, and now the listings are back at around 125 to 130 for some verified and non-verified sellers. So. And some enchanted prices going down. The Enchanted Scar, the set championship promo. We finally have like a settled price of what it's looking like. A lot of them are listed on TCG Player. Non-verified sellers have it for as low as $50. Verified sellers have them for $70. So, at your own risk, however you want to get it. But on eBay, you can find them mostly listed for around $50 to $70. I think that's going to be the range that Scar is going to sit at for the time. It's a nice card, and now I want to win the mat even more, knowing that you can only get a champion playmat now if you win in the future after set 7. So yeah, it's making me want to get a playmat more. I got to go play a set champ. Zach, have you played any? Are you planning on playing any?
I do want to give a shout out to Collectors Lounge. It's my local store, my local game store. Caesar's the main guy in charge of the Lorcana there, and I am going to be participating in their set championships. I think it's February 9th. I think it's the second week of February. I almost think it lands on Super Bowl Sunday, but Either way, I plan on playing, and I only have time to play on, for like one of these every time they come around now. I want them to bring back weekday set champs, please. I will play more if I can play them in the weekdays. And a card I would like to play more too is Beast Tragic Hero. We're looking at a price of $28.20 with just $1.50 shipping. This was brought up in our Discord server too, so shout outs to Saucy, one of our moderators, and we have had him on one of our episodes of Quest with a Guest. But yeah, this is a $30 card that I don't see staying that much cheaper for, very, very long, because we saw Bell and Beast cards kind of get announced with the single player decks. So there might just be a world where we see a two cost Beast. And I'm telling you guys, the moment we see a two cost Beast or even a one cost Beast, this card is going up. So if you don't have
Yeah.
playsets just ready to go, if in case that does happen, consider buying some now because they are at one of its lowest prices I've seen in a while. I personally don't have too many, if any at all, at my booth at Frankensons. Kevin, how's your inventory on this one?
Yeah, I don't have any. This card, Rapunzel, like Maui Shark. Anytime I have them, I put them on the case. They sell by the weekend. It's just they're so hard to come by, and when you do have them, people just they want them for their decks, and for good reason too. They're good cards, and some people play multiple decks. And the way some people don't want to play the same Amber Steel every weekend. And if you're playing multiple tournaments or you're going to multiple league nights throughout the week, then you probably are trying different decks. I know some people play with their friends, their significant others, so they're trying to like pick up the cards for the for the gameplay group, which is always fun too. So yeah, this card sells very well, even though and like most people don't even play it in the meta. Like I don't really see many meta decks using this card, but it's just still a very important card. And like you said, man, they make a one cost beast or a one and two cost beast, and oh my goodness, it's over. This card just gonna shoot up in price, even if it's just the hype, even if the card's not good, if the strategy is not good, like the hype is there for sure if they make a one cost beast character, right? Sisu Empowered Sibling, there was a lot of hype for this card. Did kind of fall down in price. They were selling for more than $30, almost $40 at one point. But right now, lowest verified is Khan's Kingdom, $29.95 with $1.27 shipping. So you can find your legendary Sisus for $30 this week. That's going to be the price it's settling at from what it's looking like. It's still way more than $15 because let's not forget, before nationals, these were $15 legendaries and they're $30 now. That's a 100% increase. That's just double in price. Top deck key, $40 for your cold foil Sisu. Shout out Top Deck Keep. They're from Southern California too, if I'm not mistaken. If you're playing Sisu, there's a world where you're also playing Flynn Rider if you're a Ruby Amethyst Enjoyer. And Flynn Rider's been going up in price a lot this week. They're going to be more than $5 going by lowest verified. $6.69 by one TCG Games right here for a Flynn Rider frenemy. It's looking like a $7 super rare again, Zach.
I agree. This is a card that, well as just it's depleting fast from my inventory, and I understand that there's this card does kind of bounce around some people's Ruby M list. Some people enjoy it more than not. I really think it depends on your meta and your local meta. This card thrives in a red blue meta. This card's not so good into a steel meta, but still a powerful card, and at very least it's inkable. The rise of cards like Moana too, like the one drop, and there's a world where we might just get a card that power creeps Argus, and we'll see a one drop 4/1. I'm waiting for the day we see a lot of high strength characters that can utilize this card's advantage, or we can see like more locations that like give like 3 strength to characters while they're in there. And this card's gonna thrive in something like that. I really think that this card too, with Gustav the Giant, is something that's still not approached as like as nothing more than a gimmick. But so this is a card that I really like for its snowball potential in a lot of different matchups. There's a lot of there's a lot of 3 cost characters with a lot of strength that this card can be used in combination with, and I think that's very unexplored into different strategies. Something that I think is also not really explored too is the ability to kind of get away with playing this card just on like your turns like 8 and 9 with alongside with like a Maui or something too. It's not really talked about as an alternative win condition. Something that can take out Maui though, that I think is being played in a lot more steel decks, is Then Along Came Zeus. This card is probably Steel's strongest removal card that exists right now. It deals 5 damage to a chosen character or location, and it's a song. And there's so many powerful 4 cost cards like the Pluto. We're seeing this card kind of come in multiple copies. I know Zach Bivens played 4 in his list that he got to qualify for the World Championships for. So yes, this is definitely a card that I don't turn away from. Kevin, I know you talk about Zeus a lot and how much you preach about this card. Share with us and everyone
Yeah.
today listening how you really feel.
The card is broken. It's a great card. I think it's like you said, Steel's best card. And then I think a lot of people forget that it deals damage to a location as well. And people are trying to be fancy with McDuck Manors. They're trying to be fancy, with 4 library and Castle still in their deck. And Zeus just gets you there. And I think if you can play 4 Zeus in your deck, then you probably should. And there's so many good 4 cost characters that can sing this card. The Pluto, goats, rabbits. Just the list goes on. But great casinos with Vanessa. It's a $5 rare today. And it's one of my top cards. I think this answers most of the things in the meta too. So it not only can be sung by some of those power cards, but it outs a lot of power cards. I think blue red is still one of like the best decks of the format. And when they waste their whole turn playing a Maui Shark and passing, it feels so good to be able to just sing Zeus and then go wide, or even just like waste your turn hard playing Zeus and playing a 1 drop or something. So because you just turn off their whole Maui Shark line, which is great. Foils are only $8.85, which I think is still pretty good. Almost $9 for a cold foil. The enchanted rares are available, but they're like $140. So if you don't want the enchanted rare, cold foils only at $8, less than $10. Still seems like a good deal to me. Lady Tremaine, this card shot up in price because Rubiam, everyone was thinking maybe you got to play 4 of these like Edmund Chu after nationals, and I love to see it because this card's just great. $3 now, actually $4 if we're taking into shipping, right? Hold My Neckbeard has them for $2.98 with $1.27 shipping, and it sticks around that $3 to $4 price for your Lady Tremaines. T-pose as well. These are still really popular in this meta. I think T-pose is going to be a staple alongside Sale for a long time. It's the inkable ramp package, and they're selling for around $2 to $3 each. 115 with $1.27 shipping for lowest verified by Teal Gaming, and every seller only has one, so you have to go through multiple sellers. So you're gonna have to pay around $2 to $3 for each TPO for at least non-foils, and cold foils are going to be selling for around $7, shipping included by BK Games. It's going to be BK Games US $6.93, shipping included for cold foil TPOs. Not too bad. Some really expensive cold foils this week though. Madam M Fox. Shout out JD. I saw your post on Facebook, dude. You posted in the Lorcana group that you bought as many cold foils from foxes, I think, or goats as possible. And look at the price this week. There's only 6 listings left. The lowest verified is 375. Lowest verified is 3750 by Angle Auctions, and then it jumps to 44.99 with $5 shipping. So I don't know if you guys have cold foil Mim Foxes, but they're selling for almost $40 each right now. That's wild, right?
Very wild. It almost seems like a max rarity Ruby M deck would go over $1,000, no question now. This is actually a card that somebody actually bought from me not too long ago. This was on Wednesday, and I was showing them the prices, and I was like, "Look, I'm gonna charge you 40 because you can buy one for 35. Next one after that's 45." And there was only 4 listings of this card that existed on TCG at the time, and there's a lot of people that want to play foil or max rarity decks. And this is a card that I remember Kevin. You asked me if I had Ruby. I'm like, yeah, I have the whole deck foil. I was like, you have foxes, goats, rabbits, all that foil. I'm like, yeah. He's like, how'd you find all that? I'm like, I just bought them in as they came. But the point I wanted to make is that like you just gotta get these cards the second you want them. If you wait as long as somebody can wait this past Wednesday, they're gonna have to be spending like $40, right? And this is a card that's been a 4 of in almost every Amethyst strategy since its release. So if you've had your foils from the early release when they were like 10, maybe $12, you are sitting pretty right now. And I know that a lot of people are sitting pretty with their foil goats. We were seeing that this card was spiked earlier this week. We kind of have it settled back down to around $20 to $25. So it's good to see that like cards and markets can kind of correct themselves whenever they spike, and they correct themselves pretty fast, because what a lot of people end up realizing is that they can start selling their card for a lot more money than, you know, what they originally had it thought it was worth. And when they go to sell it, they need to sell it for the lowest price, and they need to be less than the lowest listed price. And that's going to kind of snowball and happen more than once, right? So that's where we're going to get more of a correction. And that's when cards like Merlin Goat will become more healthy as far as the foil versions go. If you still want to play your non-foils, guys, they're still about 10 to 20 cents. So don't be afraid to just play the goats. They still do the same thing. The foil one doesn't give you an extra lore when you play it or when it leaves or anything like that. So still does the same thing.
Yeah, but they look so much nicer when you play them. But they're so expensive now. It's so crazy. Yeah, if you can you imagine if you foiled out your deck like the during set two like a year ago? Like, because the foils were cheap then. The foils were pretty cheap then. I don't think people were paying more than I want to say $10 for each one. They were still popular, but they were not that expensive. And going back to Fox real quick to end it all off for the day. Yeah, not every purple deck plays goat. Most of them do, right? But it feels like every purple deck it has to play Fox at least, just because Fox is that card, man. It's 4 strength on turn 3 that has rush. That's a little too good. So no wonder why Madam M Fox is $40 today for a cold foil. That's crazy. But that's gonna be all for this Friday Market Watch. My Lorcana goons. I can't wait to see what Arcasia's Island holds for us. So until then, make sure you stay tuned to Lorcana goons, and we'll see you goons next time. Zach, anything you want to say before we call it a day?
Just always want to give love to anyone that does come by and say hi to me at Frank and Sons. I love meeting you guys. I still have a little bit of stickers available, but we're going to get some more. And make sure you guys are always dropping down in the comments below what you guys want to see on our next Market Watch. Stay tuned to Lorcana Goons, everyone.